You guys, we made it to chapter 7. We'll be multiplying mixed numbers for this lesson. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys how we multiply fractions and how we add fractions. So remember, when we're multiplying, we do not need a common denominator, so we can multiply straight across. The numerators are 1 times 5, which equals 5, and the denominators will multiply 2 times 6, which equals 12. Easy peasy for multiplication. When we're adding fractions, on the other hand, we need a common denominator. We find the common denominator by multiplying the denominators by each other. So we're going to do 6 times 2 and 2 times 6. And whatever we do to the bottom, we must do to the top as well. So I'm going to write my equivalent fractions down at the bottom here. So we have 6 on the top, and 6 times 2 is 12. 5 times 2, we get 10, and 6 times 2 is 12. Now we can add them because we have a common denominator. Both denominators are 12. So we can add the numerators. 6 plus 10 equals 16, and the denominator stays the same. Now here's one more thing I wanted to remind us how to do. This is an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And when we have an improper fraction, we're going to move it to the side and divide it so it's no longer improper. 16 will go inside, 12 goes on the outside. How many times will 12 go into 16? Well, I'm going to try 1. 1 times 12 is 12, and we get 4 when we subtract. So my whole number is on the side here. That's 1. And my remainder becomes my numerator. And the number on the side is the same as the denominator. So 16 twelfths, change it to no longer improper, is 1 and 4 twelfths. Now we're going to use what we know about adding and multiplying fractions to multiply some mixed numbers here. And we're going to use area model to do this to make it a lot easier. So we're going to take 3 and 2/5 and put it on the top of my area model box. And I'm going to split the whole number up from the fraction. So on one side of the white line we wrote 3, and on the other side is 2/5. Then 5 and 1/3 will go on the other side. I'm going to draw a line so I can split up the whole number from the fraction again, just like that. Now we're going to start filling in each partial product by multiplying. So here we're going to find this area of 3 times 5, which is 15. And I'm going to write down my partial product on the side. 3 times 5 equals 15. Good. Now we're going to do 2/5 times 5 to find this section. And when we're multiplying by a whole number, we put it over 1. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 1, we know that's 5. And there we have an improper fraction. And I know that 5 goes into 10 2 times. So this is just the whole number 2. Now we'll find 3 times 1/3. And again, we have a whole number, so we'll put the whole number over 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And that's the whole number 1. And for the last piece, we will multiply the two fractions. 2/5 times 1/3. And we multiply straight across. We do not need a common denominator when we are multiplying fractions. So 2 times 1, that's 2, and 5 times 3, that's 15. We found the area of each little section, and we're going to add up all of the parts so that we can find the area of the whole rectangle. So I'm going to start with my whole numbers, and I'll do 15 plus 2 plus 1, and that's 18, and then add the fraction to it, and I get 18 and 2/15. And that's my final answer. Using area model as a strategy helps you do multiplying mixed numbers a lot quicker and easier.